Hey y'all, welcome back to this week's episode of the Gotham Graffiti podcast. My name is Gunnar, this is my cousin Scott. We have got a pretty good episode for y'all today. Not taking too much of your time this week. We're going to keep this one a little bit shorter since the last 2 or 3 have been a little longer.
Yes.
But we got some good stuff. We think you're going to enjoy it. Also, stick around to the end of the episode to see if Scott can get some redemption in the Versus segment after going 0-2.
I'm hoping it's going to be 2-1 after today. That's the goal. That's the goal. I'm pretty confident about my list, but we'll go ahead and get into kind of our first segment here. We're going to briefly talk about X-Men, so I'll let you go ahead.
So we're 3 episodes into the they're calling it a reboot, but I don't mean to be a pet peeve guy, but the fact that they call the show X-Men 97 kind of bothers me. It's just X-Men. Just make it like the next season.
Like, yeah.
But because it's if you go on Disney Plus, it's like it's its own show. But nonetheless,
They did the same thing with Clone Wars in the last season.
I can't remember. Did they really?
They did for a while. It was like in its own section, and then they like merged.
Oh, I was gonna say because I remember when I went through and watched it, it was finally on the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 3 episodes in, I really like it. As a big X-Men fan, it's great. All the characters get their time to shine in the ways that they do. If you're a Cyclops fan, you're going to love it. Cyclops in a lot of ways, and this is coming from a Wolverine fan. Cyclops is a lot cooler in this show than Wolverine is in a lot of cases. The stuff between Magneto and the team, if you haven't watched it yet, I won't tell you what the context is, but the stuff between Magneto and the team is great. The animation looks really good. Like they stayed true to what they were and just updated it. Like it just looks clean and polished. It's really good.
I do remember when it got announced that they were kind of like doing a little bit different animation, that you were worried that it wasn't.
A lot of people were, because that got put out and everybody was like, "Oh no!" But it's I guess technically it's different, but it stayed true to the classic form. It's just updated and a little bit more smooth in terms of animation flow. But yeah, 3 episodes in, we're not a whole lot to talk about. The only thing I will say is, I am noticing they're rushing through some stories quickly. I don't know if this is because they don't know if they're going to get a second season and they're just trying to get all that they can get out of it in one go. But the 3rd episode, while being good, kind of rushed through a specific story arc in X-Men that should have been at least 3 to 4 episodes, and it was 1. It was done well for what it was, but it was very rushed. So, if you liked the original show, go watch this. I love it. I'm a massive... For me, the 90s cartoon is my iteration of X-Men. I love X-Men. I love the movies. But for me, that's X-Men to me. So if you're a fan of that, go give it a watch. So, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, even for someone who hasn't seen it, I've kind of seen bits and pieces of the show as he's been watching it. And it actually looks really interesting. I saw the one where, I don't remember the context of it, but like Cyclops is diving out of the plane. He's like, I'll see you on the ground. And then he just like... does the
beams
thing,
down to break the fall.
Yeah,
Cyclops is cool in the show. Cyclops is cool.
Yeah.
Coming off that though, we are going to go into. There's been a lot of rumors and a lot of speculation that Disney's animation might be doing more of these shows, might be rebooting certain shows. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through 3 characters, teams, whatever it is, that we would like to see. Whether it's a previous 90s show from Marvel we'd like to see rebooted, or it's a original pitch. So, Scott, why don't you go ahead with your 3rd?
So, if you've been watching the channel, my number 1 pick is no surprise. I want a 3rd season of Spectacular Spider-Man.
I think that's fair.
If you've seen the show, you know that it kind of ended on a cliffhanger a little bit with...
Oh, it definitely did.
Yeah, Norman still being alive and... going off to Florida or whatever. They kind of teased that a little bit. I've watched several YouTube videos on kind of what the creators wanted to do, and like the goal was to, by I think it was either season 3 or 4, like Peter was going to graduate high school and go off to college. There were even talks of bringing in the Fantastic Four. There was a specific episode that they were talking about where there's going to be like a Johnny Storm and Peter Parker team up at one point. But there would have been Carnage, like they talked about having Carnage on the show. There were a lot of cool things that they were working on before Disney came in and shut it down. So That would be my number one pick if Disney wanted to go in and like redo or give another season to a show that has been canceled for Marvel. So
I like that pick a lot. So just for clarification from my list, like he said, if you watch the Spider-Man episode, the 90s Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel animation project ever. It's not on my list because it's already kind of being rumored. I didn't want to kind of cop out and give that one. It's already being rumored. There's been some hints of it in X-Men. And from what we understand on the rumor mill, depending on how this season of X-Men does, they might be greenlighting Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I kept that one out. I'm doing 3 different takes. My third for me is I want to see the 90s Fantastic Four show rebooted. We only got 1 season of that. That was what made me a fan. Those in the early 2000s movies are what made me a Fantastic Four fan.
Yeah.
I loved the 90s show, especially after seeing what they did with X-Men and seeing the execution of it. I'm like, oh, you could definitely do this. Especially with them just announcing the cast of Fantastic Four.
I was just about to say, that could tie very well into it. Could get like a lot of people excited.
It could get a lot of people excited. Get a lot of people familiar with the Fantastic Four before your new movie comes out, before you're entering this new slate for the MCU. I think the Fantastic Four would do a lot for Marvel in general. I think a lot of people have been craving kind of a refresh from Marvel. And I think Fantastic Four, they're doing it, obviously. They're doing the movie. But as you said, I think the show would be a good way to go about that in just terms of getting people excited, getting people that aren't familiar with the Fantastic Four a little bit more familiar with it. You bring back in maybe fans that aren't avid comic book fans, but they remember the show, and they're like, "Oh, they're doing this again." Yeah, I remember watching this as a kid on Saturday mornings. Let's watch it. So yeah, for me, my third pick is Fantastic Four.
Very cool.
What about you? What's your second?
So for me, my second pick, I know that there was a 90s show of this character. I never really watched it, so I'm either cool with them getting another season or just a completely new show with this character, but it's the Hulk.
Yeah, dude.
So we need. Again, there was a 90s. It got 1, 2 seasons?
It was 2 seasons.
2 seasons, yeah. So either you could do a third season of the 90s Hulk show, or you could just give us a completely new Hulk show, introduce us to a new Bruce Banner, like do something different, and like make it like, we've talked a lot about on this channel, like kind of how the MCU is screwed over the Hulk. Like we need to see the Hulk, and if you were to do an animated show, like we don't need to see, him being, hey, I'm Bruce Banner, I'm Hulk.
Well, and especially it's like if they're not going to do him in the movies.
Yeah, if they're not, like this could be a chance to like even, because Hulk is still technically around in the MCU. If you wanted to maybe try out the darker themes and darker stories in this animated show and see how people respond to it, and it's like, okay, well then maybe we
Which would be great.
Yeah, and then like maybe going forward with Hulk in the MCU, we can actually get those darker stories that we've all been wanting for years, but Marvel's just been too afraid to give it to us.
Oh, how badly we want some good Hulk content from Marvel.
Yes.
I love that. I love that take. So my second's going to be Venom. And
Ooh.
So I
like from the 90s show or just like Venom?
I think it could be either, really. My only issue with doing the 90s show is that's a very vindictive Venom. And like a very like bloodlusted, hates Peter Venom.
Right.
I would love to see like a Lethal Protector show of Venom. Okay. Even if it's just a one-off, even if you're doing a limited series and he only gets 1 season, if it's 8 episodes, whatever it is. I just think that would be good. Once again, going into the third Venom movie, your Marvel obviously and Sony obviously really likes Venom. He brings in a lot of revenue, and I promise you, a Venom cartoon would fly off streaming services.
Oh.
Everybody would love it. The merch, the action figures, everything from it. Especially as big of a Venom fan as I am, I can tell you, seeing, not that the Tom Hardy movies aren't decent, I enjoy them, but being able to see a true love letter to Venom as a character. Also, especially, we're getting this Seth Rogen animated Venom project that got announced this week.
Oh, yeah.
So you could tie it in with that, maybe. He could get his own movie. Maybe he gets a show after that, or vice versa, however it ends up being.
I'd be down for that.
I just think Venom would be very successful, and there's a lot you can do with that character in terms of lore. Because we talked about in the Spider-Man episode, it could be Lethal Protector. It could be him fighting other symbiotes that come to Earth. It doesn't have to be Spider-Man. It can be Venom's own show. And since Marvel really wants to lean into Venom being an anti-hero, which I'm iffy on. I feel like Venom should still be a villain. But if you're going to do that, I feel like that's the way you could do it and do it well. So for me, I got Venom at number 2.
Okay.
So what's your 1?
Well, I did these in no particular order, but other than Spider-Man. But so for my last pick, I chose Captain America.
Ooh.
I know that there was like a 60s Captain America animated show, and then there was like a live action movie that was in like the 80s that was really bad.
Yeah.
But I think it would be really cool. And yes, I know we've seen Captain America in the MCU for 10 years, and like a lot of stories have come out of that. But I still think that, even if it's just 1 to maybe 2 seasons of a show, I think like a cool Captain America show.
Just seeing not Avengers stories, seeing Captain America
right, and
stories.
like because what would be really cool, and kind of what I was thinking when I came up with this pick, is like in the MCU we only got to see Captain America in World War II in 1 movie. So like what if you did like the first season is just him in World War II doing like, obviously the first one can be him getting his powers, and then he goes over to Germany, and like whatever. You could even have him, depending on how you want to do the story, you could have him go to Japan, Just like, I think it'd be really cool to see him, like, and you don't have to make it super violent either. Like, it doesn't have to be an R-rated cartoon or anything like that. But, like, seeing him, like, in World War II doing Captain America things with his buddies, like, that would be really cool.
I like that a lot, actually. I like that a lot. Because I think Captain America is one of those characters that's he's a fan favorite, but a lot of times we see him in team stories, and it'd be cool to just see Captain America.
Yes.
It'd be cool to see just Captain America. So for me, my number 1 pick is Wolverine. And my pitch is Wolverine from the X-Men 97.
Because who else, right?
Right. And my idea here is I know some people will be like, well, he's part of X-Men. If you follow Wolverine as a character, he's like Batman. He leaves the X-Men all the time. Goes and does his own thing. You could do a show of him in Japan. A lot of Wolverine lore comes from when he's his time in Japan. You could do him just being kind of Logan in America, in like rural America, if you wanted to. I just think Wolverine's one of those characters that, because he's in the X-Men show, as great and cool as he is, you have to spend a lot of time on the other characters. And a lot of times Wolverine does take a back seat to that. And I think Wolverine is one of those guys that, he was the OG big 3. It was him, Hulk, and Spider-Man. And I feel like a kind of same idea as Captain America. A isolatory Wolverine cartoon that's just Wolverine. And you do make it a little bit darker. You make it a little bit darker. And it's just Wolverine. And then when you want to tie him back in, if you do a second season, you can do that. You can do him coming back to the team. There's a lot of talk of them getting the rights to X-Men. There's a possibility that we might be getting a Wolverine movie at some point in the future. Ooh. Another way to get more fans and more hype around Wolverine as a character. Not that he needs anymore as is, but you know what I mean.
Hugh Jackman has done enough.
Hugh Jackman's done enough. But and especially with him being in Deadpool. There's going to be a resurgence of Wolverine. I just feel like it'd be a really good idea and something they already have built in with the X-Men show. It's already a familiar character that people love. You're not taking any huge risks with it.
Right.
I think a Wolverine show would be pretty sweet.
That'd be cool. I might have to watch that.
If they came up with that, So coming out of that, guys, we are going to go into Read of the Week. We'll go straight into it. With the Read of the Week this week is going to be Spider-Man: Kraven's Last Hunt. So this is a thinner one. This is not a crazy big read. Picked this up from our local comic shop a couple months back. Loved it. One of my favorite things about this story is you get to see Black Suit Spider-Man, and he's not fighting Venom. You just get to see Black Suit Spider-Man being Spider-Man.
Being aggressive.
Just him being Spider-Man. I can't go into a whole lot of this because it is a shorter story. I'd be spoiling some things. But there's a reason it's called Kraven's Last Hunt. The way they tie it together at the end is just like whoa. If you enjoy, or I'll put it to you this way. If you enjoyed Kraven's arc in Spider-Man 2, the video game, you'll love this. You will love this. You can tell they got a lot of inspiration for the game from this. It's a great Kraven story. It's a great Spider-Man story. The art in it's great. It is the classic 90s Marvel art with Mary Jane and the black and red hair and black and blue symbiote Spider-Man. There's the back. You get to see Kraven being Kraven. You get to see an aggressive Spider-Man. I loved this also just for the you really get to see a human side out of Kraven. You get to see
he's not just like a one-dimensional.
You get to see what drives him, what really makes him the character he is, his desires, his passions, his goals as a character, how this ties into Spider-Man. Also, for about 90% of the story, it's raining. So the aesthetic in this book is awesome. The aesthetic in this book is great.
We love a good, like, cloudy, dark,
rainy, black suit Spider-Man.
Yes.
It's a great story. New York is also, like, the city itself is takes a huge role in this story. So yeah, if you're a Kraven fan, if you're a Spider-Man fan, this is one of those, pick it up. This was $15. This thing's going for $15. It's
that's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's a great story. It's something you definitely need in your library if you are a Spider-Man fan. And if you're looking for something, we're getting a lot of these new Spider-Man stories. We got the Chip Zdarsky Omni that came out a while back. We got Marvel published the Clone Saga. They published both the volumes of the Clone Saga. So if you're kind of looking for a resurgence of Spider-Man, you're looking for some classic stories, going back to some of the roots of what made the character, pick this one up. It's really good, and I think you'll enjoy it.
All right, now for the moments we've all been waiting for, we're doing a sequel to our Versus series from last week. If you've been watching the channel, you know that it is currently 2-0, and while we've done this series, it's 2-0. So we borrowed some categories from last week, some from a couple weeks ago, and then we came up with a couple of new categories. And so I think we're just going to go ahead and start us off. I'll let you, since you're the winner from last week, I'll go ahead and let you start us off. We're starting with Mercenary again. So what is Mercenary you got?
My Mercenary pick is Bane.
Bane. Okay. I have Jango Fett. That might. Okay.
I'll let you give your pitch.
Okay. So, other than Boba Fett, we know that Jango Fett is the most capable bounty hunter in all of the Star Wars universe. He is
maybe even better than Boba Fett.
Yes. Well, the only reason I say that is because he was cut down in his prime, and Boba Fett lived to old age, so he got to kind of surpass him a little bit. But he has a plethora of weapons on him at all times. He is a fantastic hand-to-hand combatant. He can go toe-to-toe with Jedi, other than Mace Windu, obviously. And I don't know. That's kind of a tough one.
So my pitch would be, when I say Bane, and I know
do you mean tactician Bane?
I mean like
Bane.
I don't mean like Batman versus Robin Bane. Right. I mean Bane from Arkham Origins. I mean Bane from Dark Knight Rises. I mean Bane from Nightfall. So my pitch for why I think Bane wins is Bane took out the entire Bat family in City of Bane, and took out Batman. And I don't think Jango Fett's beating Batman or some of the members of the Bat family.
That is true.
Not only did he take out the Bat family, he took out, with the exception of Batman, he took out the entire Bat family all at once.
The only thing that I could maybe say to combat that is all of the Bat family does not have the capability to kill, except maybe Red Hood.
Well, they definitely have the capability to kill.
Well, I'm saying they won't cross that line. Jango Fett has absolutely no problem crossing that line. And because of how armed to the teeth he is, he doesn't.
True. So then I'd ask you this question.
Okay.
If you had to put your savings account on Nightfall Bane, City of Bane, Arkham Origins Bane against Jango Fett.
Dang it.
We're starting out strong. We're starting out strong.
When you said Bane, I was like,
I give you a little bit, but I mean overall Bane,
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a good fight, though. I think that would be a good fight to watch. I'd pay to watch that. But I think if you're using Nightfall Bane, then I think Jango Fett would probably. It would be close, but I think Bane would probably edge that out a little bit.
Take that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So you got up next.
Second one, we have street level. So I have Nightwing.
Okay. I have Shredder.
Shredder. He beat Batman, dude. Wait, okay, hold on. Wouldn't that be a mercenary though? I thought he was like more of a mercenary.
Shredder's just the leader of the Foot Clan. They take out the Foot Clan. They try and take over New York.
Okay.
He's not. He doesn't collect bounties. He's just like he's trying to take over cities, and the Turtles happen to be and Turtles and Master Splinter happen to be in the way.
All right, man.
Hey, I might be the Undertaker.
Okay,
dude.
hold on. There's still three more.
All right. We have up next Elemental, and I have Captain Atom.
I have Firestorm.
Okay, we'll have to talk this one out.
Yeah, so Captain Atom is a good one. But, so the case I would make for Firestorm, Captain Atom can control various elements like fire and stuff like that. But Firestorm can manipulate literally anything on a subatomic or atomical, whatever the term is. He can manipulate atoms to create basically anything he wants. Fire, rocks, water, whatever it is, he can manipulate anything. So that would be my only thing is that, I think with the guy you chose, I think he's kind of more of a one-trick pony, as to Firestorm would be more of a, he could find more ways to defeat him.
Okay.
Now, if they were going, like, if you're talking about straight up like physicality, I could maybe give that to you. But if they're gonna start like an elemental power war or whatever, I definitely would pick Firestorm.
So my only argument would be is Captain Atom contains nuclear power.
Well, so does Firestorm.
Does
he? Yeah, he has the potential to do that.
Okay. All right, I'll give you that one. I'll give you Firestorm over Captain Atom.
I just think Firestorm is a more he has more weapons at his disposal. So
I would agree. My
now, if they were to box, Firestorm.
My only thing would be if it came down to like them throwing hands. I think Captain Atom would probably take.
No, I agree with you. But I'm saying if you give them all of their abilities and all their powers, I think Firestorm would probably. It would be close, but I think.
I don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with that.
We got one.
You got one.
We got one.
I'll give you Firestorm.
Okay. All right. So now we're moving on to.
Excuse me.
Our fourth one, which is Antihero. Since you just lost that one, I'll let you go.
I got Magneto.
Dadgummit. You know, I almost picked Magneto.
Who'd you pick?
I picked Azrael.
Honestly, you would have had a better chance if you put Azrael against Shredder in street level.
Well, yeah, but Azrael he's kind of more of an anti-hero because he does, I mean, yes, I know he's working for God, but like, he'll do things.
Right.
Or whatever.
Okay.
Because street level, like, I think, who did you have last time for street level? Do you remember?
Daredevil.
Yeah, so I was thinking, well, Nightwing, they can kind of battle it out.
Throw it out.
And then you said Shredder, and I was like, oh. Okay.
Repping the brand.
All right, so, yeah, Magneto wins that. That hurts to say, but Magneto wins that. Azrael's not winning against Magneto.
All right, so who is your next round is animal base. So now, for context, this is literally if they have animalistic abilities, if their theme is animal.
If they are an animal.
If they are an animal, all across the board.
I'm already going to lose, so it doesn't even matter.
Well, who'd you pick?
Crypto the Super Dog.
I picked Wolverine.
Mine's basically a dog Superman.
Not on the level of Superman, though.
Yeah, but he has the same powers. That would be like, it would be the same as like maybe like Supergirl versus Wolverine.
Ooh, you might get some hate for that. You might get some hate for that. Yeah, just for the sake of the pod, I'd still pick Wolverine, dude. I mean, only because Wolverine, in terms of his endurance and damage he can take, I don't know if Crypto could outlast Wolverine because it would be just a fist fight.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, he is still invulnerable. He still has like super strength and all of that.
Yeah. So I guess if you're going off comic Crypto.
Yeah, but like unless you have kryptonite, and I know like that's probably unpopular to say that Crypto could beat Wolverine. Right. But like he still has the same powers as Superman. He's still invulnerable unless you have kryptonite. I mean, he could maybe because I mean he is a dog, so like dogs typically don't have the same amount of endurance as humans.
Right.
But he's still super dog. Like
Yeah, I mean,
unless kryptonite is involved, I don't think that he's winning that.
I mean, how about I'll give it to you, but we'll leave it up to y'all at the comments.
Hey, since I lost anyway,
I'll give it to you, but hit us in the comments and on social media on who takes that, Wolverine or Krypto.
Dude, I did better last week, and I was more excited this week for
3-0. So we'll take a break from this for the next few episodes. We'll come back to this, and we'll hope that Scott can take me down in the next versus segment whenever we choose to do that. But why don't you go ahead and close us out, man?
I will. I will close this out.
Hey, really quick. Before we started this, he was talking crap. He was like, dude, I'm ready, man. I came heavy this week. And I was like, all right.
Well, I wasn't thinking, okay, I got Django Fett. You're like, hey, Nightfall Bane. I'm like, Dad, gummit. And then it's like, oh, hey, I got Nightwing. Oh, well, I have Shredder who beat Batman in fisticuffs. It's like, oh, man.
You gotta, I told you, you gotta start thinking out the box.
Yeah, I know.
Out the box.
All right. Okay. Well, anyway, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get redemption, but it was still a fun episode, and we tried to keep it short for you guys this week. If you would hit that subscribe bell. We've been posting some shorts here recently. We've been getting a lot of views. We really appreciate those who've been watching those videos. But if you like more long-form content like this podcast that we're doing, go ahead and hit that subscribe bell so that we can get our stuff out to you. We had a fun time this week, and we will see you next time.
See y'all next time, guys.